Hello and welcome to the Kayden Gordon Show, today's best country mix. And joining me right here today is Greg Pratt. Greg, how are you?
Good. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Absolutely.
So, kind of get started by telling a little bit about yourself.
I guess we can start at the beginning. So I was born and raised in Memphis, Tennessee, to a family of doctors and engineers. Well, the engineers came later. My sister's a civil engineer down in Orlando. Started in Memphis, born and raised in Tennessee. Went to the University of Alabama for a while. Came back to Tennessee for a little bit, but I eventually left college with a credit left to graduate to come and do country music in Nashville, Tennessee. So it was an interesting right angle because a lot of people in my family, mom, grandpa, uncle, were all pediatricians. Dad is a world-renowned surgeon, pretty much. Like, I remember him walking into some rooms when he'd come into surgery, and everybody would just immediately acknowledge his presence. And mom and dad and grandpa and uncle, they're all really great at what they do medically. Sister ended up being an engineer. Brother went up to Brooklyn for a while. So it was an interesting right angle off of what I guess you could call a family pedigree. But I think in the end, mom and dad just wanted me to do something that I could hopefully be successful at. And country music's hard to do that with because odds tend to be against you when you're first starting out. You got to really start from the ground up. So.
Yeah, definitely. And coming from a family that has like doctors and engineers, I think is going to be a different view than someone that doesn't have those in their family. I think it was much probably hard for you.
Yeah, it was hard at the beginning. I think, and parents only want what's best for their kids, and that's
Right.
I totally understand that. It's just the rules and laws of the country music industry are so different from that of, I guess, medicine, and it's what you have to do, how you have to conduct yourself, and what flies and what doesn't fly. So in the end, I think the rule is just be as good as you can, tell the damn truth, and work hard, and eventually you'll get to where you need to go. You just can't give up. Can't give up, no matter what.
I agree with you. So, do you have someone that you would like to do a duet or collaboration with, Greg?
That's a good one. I'd say as far as big artists and small artists, like front to back. Like, so there's this girl that I played on stage with. We were doing an event last Friday. The event was a birthday party for during CMA Fest, and this guy Michael was going all out for his wife. And I was MC for the event, and I was also singing for the event as well. So I was worked. So we got who were the guests? We had the Wild Eyes, who had somebody who used to be one of their band members used to be in the band Hosier. We had Breland get up and do his two big hits. Ernest got up and did Flower Shops, which was like an awesome moment. Larry Fleet was part of it. There was a girl named Lainey Wilson, who's got an amazing traditional country voice that I would love to do a duet with one day. We'll see how it goes. But she was super nice, killed it. I had to learn her songs the day before because I didn't know that I was going to be backing her. So I had to learn that on the fly. But the performance was great. Everything went smooth. But she had an awesome voice. I was really struck by that. And knowing me, what I want my sound to be is a blend between the old and new to a certain degree. My roots are in traditional country, but my soul and my rhythm is both Memphis blues, and it's got kind of a contemporary and lively punk to it. So I think with her beautiful voice, I think we could do a really cool duet somewhere.
Yeah, that would be really cool. So, do you have any new singles or any upcoming projects you want to tell us about, Greg?
So I've got two out now. One I released March 10th. It's called "Don't Last Long." It's just a straight thrash of a song. It's got the fiddle. It's got all the elements of country, and it's edgy, and it's really contemporary feeling, but still has that classic swag to it. Then I released "First," which came out May 27th, and that's a little bit more traditional. I think I don't want to talk about it too much, but we might be doing a remix on that too. There's a guy, a really, really big producer that took an interest in helping us out. So we might be doing a re-release, so there might be two versions of that coming out soon. My favorite one so far coming out this year is a song called "Somebody Tell Memphis," and it's paying respects to the hometown and everything. That comes out probably early August, um, but it's been tracked, it's been recorded, it's just being mixed and mastered, and Sizzle putting on it right now. So that's what I tell everybody to look out for. Listen to first and don't let song absolutely, but "Somebody Tell Memphis" is just a completely different animal to country music. For God's sake, it has saxophone in it, so like, it's going to be so different. I think it's going to make, you can't have a saxophone go off in a track and not feel some kind of way. So I think it's going to be really cool. So early August is what we're planning on it being. Just follow my Instagram, Greg Pratt Country, and my website. That'll have all the information on when everything's coming out too. So, but we're knocking single after single out. There's going to be probably about 3 or maybe 4 more this year alone. So,
Wow, that's awesome.
4 years of preparation for it. We're just kind of firing them off now. So.
Totally. So, do you have a goal set for yourself, Greg? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, so when I got to town, I guess the best way to say this is I got to town, and you all try to find your way and kind of find your crew, find your team, who you are, how you want to say things. Because the biggest piece of advice that I got when I first got here was, it's not about how do I say this? Not about how you sing it. It's what you say when you see something or sing something. Are you saying something that is going to help somebody, that's going to affect somebody? It's about what you say when you sing something. So I had a lot of that preparation and development that I had to go through when I got to town, not only by myself, but then 4 years ago, I got signed to my team at Progo, who used to be a bunch of the guys that worked at Arista back in the day. And they've been in country music for like 35 years. So a lot of development went into where we are now. Now we're just starting to fire the guns off. What I want to happen in the next 10 years is that since we finally have found my direction and how I want to say things, just have that grow. I mean, I'm already living the dream. I play country music, a minimum of 4 times a week. Sometimes this last week, I probably played 9 shows in 7 days, and it's great. I live for the stage. I have ADHD like a crazy person, so I'm in there. I'm completely at home. But I have to remind myself too, no matter where we end up, we're already living the dream right now. So you just have to grow it and get our messages out to more people, and hopefully that music can help more people as we grow. So it's just about growing the dream as big as you can before you have to clock out, I guess. So
Totally. So if someone was to write a song about you, what would they write about?
That's a good question. I'd say it'd probably be something about starting a fire. Like there was a hook I was thinking the other day. Wherever you are, you always want to make something awesome happen. That's the rule that we have. Is wherever you are, whether you're having fun, whether you're at work, whether you're on stage, you gotta start that fire wherever you are. You get up every day and make something cool happen. And it'd be something like that. It'd be something about having a little bit too much fun sometimes, and maybe loving a little bit too hard other times. But you don't do anything halfway. You don't do anything halfway. It's full speed all the way through.
Yeah, I agree with you, because if something goes wrong, which it could if you do it halfway, you're not really getting the job done technically. So it's important.
It's
make
better
sure you get
to
it
do
done.
something wrong full speed than to do something right only halfway.
Absolutely, and that's super important in music. I think it's important for people. If something happens on stage, then okay, just keep going. You don't stop.
You ride it out. Yeah. Vince Gill had a song, "Let's Do Something Even If It's Wrong," or something like that. It was something along those lines. It's a great song. So that's kind of what I live by. It's against all odds, no matter what odds are against you. You take it all the way through, and you take it home.
Totally, I agree. What do you like doing outside of music, Greg? Do you have any hobbies, interests, anything like that going on?
I would say I like going out, and I'm all over my Instagram, my TikTok. I do a lot of swing dancing. I'll find somebody who's having a bad day, or somebody that's looking like they want to have a little fun. Then I'll grab her hand and be like, "Do you want to dance? You got 30 seconds." And she'll have a minute to think about it. And when I was 12 years old, both me and my sister had to learn to swing dance, essentially. So I know how to do like the twirl, the dip, the flip, the whole 9 yards. And to do something like that to somebody who's not expecting it, I mean, you can't you can't screw up. That's the only thing. But it'll really make somebody's trip or somebody's night if you can do something like that. And it's just, I like going out and there's some folks that I sometimes go out with and they just went, let's just go into random bars and take over the dance floor and dance it out. I learned the two-step when I got to Nashville too, which was really cool. Kind of stuff like that. I like going out with friends. The other thing I like doing a lot, and I tell you what, is I like sleeping. I like sleeping a whole lot when I'm not working. Because work is kind of interesting here. I'm an artist and I'm an entertainer. Those are two different things. They sometimes go hand in hand. The performer is out there sweating, working hard on stage, making that live energy exchange with an audience and trying to make somebody's day. The recording artist life, though, is a lot about making sure you have your voice, making sure that voice is always in prime condition, whether it's working out, whether it's eating right, whether it's sleeping correctly. And that's a lot of work too. And I always tell anybody that I talk to, when I'm not on stage, I'm still working, because everything I do revolves around making sure that artist career, because that's what I eventually want to do. It's not, I want to do both things, but knowing that an artist is very different than an entertainer, and sometimes they intertwine, but knowing how to protect yourself and keep that artist dream alive and not wear it out as an entertainer. I see a lot of people that have through the years have worn themselves out by being too hard of an entertainer and living too hard. So you got to have that balance. That balance is key. But yeah, writing is the other thing. I'm taking a lot more time to write music now. I did a bunch over COVID and the lockdowns here in town. But really what we did, we made the decision that we've got to get up and do something. We can't just sit in here and not do anything, even though the world's shut down. So we got Jeff King was really cool enough to let us use his space, and we recorded music. We got in, we picked the songs, and we spent time preparing for when everything would open up. And now we're starting to finally fire everything off. So, but the majority of what I do, hobby or not, a lot of it revolves around making this whole dream work. It's a 24/8 or a 25/8 job. But if you love your work, it's not work. So.
If you love it, you don't really look at it as at work. You look at it more as like fun or hobby or however you would describe it.
It's a mix of both. There are times where it's not as glamorous as everybody thinks it is. But I think the biggest thing that I like about my job, whether it's the fun parts or the work parts, is that it's doing something to help someone else. I know my dad, my mom, my uncle, my grandpa, they all helped so many people doing what they did. And I knew I wanted to do that for a living. I just didn't really know how until this kind of hit me. And I figured out, the day I figured that out was a songwriter round at the Commodore Room. When I got to town first, I rented a basement in Hermitage for way too much money, no windows. And I wrote a song down there. And this lady came up right after I sang that song for the first time out in front of anybody. And she came up and hugged me, and she was just bawling. And she gave me a big old hug, didn't say a word. And I started kind of cracking up too, not laughing, but like I started getting a tear in my eye. And then after about 30 seconds of swaying and just trying to like embracing, I stepped back and was like, all right, what are you crying about? She's like, I lost my son last October. And I didn't feel his presence when I heard the news. I didn't cry at his funeral. She said, I didn't feel him until you sang that song. It's a song called What a Moment Really Means, What a Minute Really Means. We changed the words because we're going to re-record it, and it's going to be, I can't wait for it. But she said, I didn't feel his presence in the room until you sang that song about what time means to you and how precious it is. Don't run it through, but don't waste it. And she said, I felt him all around the room. She's like, I know you have no idea what you're doing because you said you just moved to town, but don't stop. And that was my first tap on the shoulder, that this is exactly what I was meant to do, because I fought for so many years in college trying to figure out what it is I was going to do, and nothing would work, whether it was, I wasn't going to be a surgeon like my dad. I wasn't going to be a doctor like my mom or uncle or grandpa. And I tried business for a while. I tried looking at communication and broadcast, and the day they kind of kicked me was I was brought up on stage by a guy named Skylar Anderson, who was on the X Factor in 17. Mm-hmm. And he sent me a text through Instagram saying, "Hey, you don't suck. Why don't you come play when my band takes a break at Dan McGinnis near Memphis, Tennessee. It's in South Haven, Mississippi." And I get up there, and for some reason, everybody liked it. I sat in a chair and looked at the ground and sang some Josh Turner songs, and everybody liked it. And after that, it was just history. So like what I do is at the very core of it is whether I sing a fast song, get somebody out of their seat, or whether I sing a song like the song I wrote for my dad, Different Strings, that kind of hits people right in the heart. Whatever it is, there is a healing factor to that a pill or a procedure or something like that can't quite get to. And that's at the heart of what, why everything that I do in a day is really revolves around music and making sure that we can get these messages out, make good music, and change people's lives. The last part about this, which is really important to me, is my management team, Progo Nashville, Progo Music Group, who's a lot of the guys from Arista back in the day, and they did tons of big names that you can just look it all up. But Clive Davis is the guy that started Arista with, I think it was, and they had a rule. What we sell is not music. It's not sex appeal. It's not anything. You're selling emotion. You are selling an emotional connection with that music from artist to listener. And that's the most important thing. That's what you should focus on. Is that whatever color that emotion you want that emotion to take, that is what you're selling, what you're concentrating on. That's what can help people. So we just kind of circle around that rule and do our best to get it out and get that message across every single time.
Absolutely. So where can people find you on social media, Greg, if they want to keep up with what you're doing?
Absolutely. So my Instagram, Greg Pratt Country, GREGPRATT Country. That TikTok is the same. I'm on Facebook, Spotify, Apple Music. Just look up Greg Pratt. There's a picture of me in a black cowboy hat. So we've got a lot of music coming out. All information about future singles is going to be TikTok or Instagram, and Instagram goes to Facebook as well. So I am on all three. So again, that's Greg Pratt Country, GREGPRATT Country, and that's where you can find me.
That's awesome. And is there anything I forgot to mention that you'd like to mention, Greg?
Nope. Just keep on watching. We got some cool stuff coming up. So.
Fantastic. Well, I would like to thank Greg Pratt for coming on the Kayden Gordon Show, today's Best Country Mix. We appreciate your time so much today.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kayden.